So should we start again? Because that was so good, Al. That was really, really nice. That was ace. Or we can do a kind of cutaway, but yes. So
that was completely off the cuff as well.
that was good.
I've got to remember
The
that
problem
again.
is, you don't have to remember it again. So anyway, as we were saying, here we are in Tutbury Castle. I don't know if that's our introduction point, but it doesn't really matter. Amazing, amazing space. Behind us we have what looks like a hill, except there's something about it that's possibly man-made. And then down to our left we have a very steep drop down into a valley and down to the River Dove. And we're looking at, I guess, the geology initially of here, and you are the geologist.
Okay, yeah, and what the fascinating thing is about this mound we're standing on is that it's not an igneous mound. Most mounds are made of an igneous material, magma, that's come up through the earth and then solidified, and then you've had stuff going around it, then that all gets eroded, leaving what they call a volcanic plug. Something like Arthur's Seat in Edinburgh is a volcanic plug. Most mounds you will see, or hills like this that are on their own, that have castles and stuff on top of them, are igneous. But this isn't. It's actually sedimentary. In fact, it's actually glacial till, which is the debris a glacier leaves behind it, because the glacier came from that way over at the start of the Dove Valley, swept down, for some reason took an abrupt left and headed that way. So all the stuff that had accumulated, the gravel, the silt, the sand and everything, got pushed up into this massive bank. And it's actually, it looks cylindrical here, but it actually tails off that way, which is absolutely fascinating, because you hardly ever get a mound like this that is sedimentary. So what it's made up of is you've got layers of gravel, you've got layers of sand, and in between that you've got lenses of clay, which of course trap water. You also have an awful lot of minerals coming down, being brought down. So you've got an awful lot of salts being put into these layers. Now, my theory is that you're getting a lot of the clay being bent up because it's being pressed by the glacier. So you're getting like a mound, or what I call a semicline like this, and you've got an impermeable layers of clay with water trapped in between, and the water is quite saline, so quite salty, so therefore you get quite a lot of electricity being conducted through this, and that's one of the reasons I think you get such powerful energy lines coming through here. Also, you
kind of jumped there rather beautifully. Electricity, da-dong! I mean, first of all, I think if people could imagine an onion, and you kind of slice through the onion and you see the top of the onion and its concentric rings. But equally well, you slice down the onion, you still get the same effect, concentric rings, and that's what you're looking at, isn't it? Yeah. Now, from an electrical universe perspective, we are surrounded by electrical energy all the time. It's most obvious in lightning strikes and stuff like that. And what you're saying is essentially that electrical energy is it stored? Is it accumulated? Is it created? What's the magic of this area as opposed to somewhere that's a volcano?
Right. Oh, simply, this is sedimentary, so it's many layers, like you said. An onion's a perfect analogy for it. Igneous is completely different. It's all the rock melted together, so it's full of like plagioclase, felspars and everything, which have a slight piezoelectric charge through it, but nothing you can actually get a dimension on, so it doesn't go one way or the other. It's just a whole, think of it as a fractured mass of electricity, whereas here you've got, because it's sedimentary, you've got straight lines and hopefully some faults as well that will split up the electrical flow.
Okie dokie. And the other thing that we found around here is we have numerous water sources. So you mentioned the Dove Valley down there, so we've got a great big river running down there. We've got over here, we've got the well over here, water source, boom. If we think of an electrical circuit, what does that do?
It forms an electrode coming down that way. It's electrolyte flowing along.
And most importantly, so we're standing on a mound that's been created by glaciers,
yes,
and yet behind us, this mound up here, that hasn't been created by glaciers.
No, that is completely man-made. There was no way that was made by any glacier or anything like that. If you look at the LiDAR, the radar pictures of it, that's completely different stuff. That is not part of this. Right? This was all flattened off and then they built that mound there.
Okay, so it could have been that it was built at the same time as a moat and bailey, but it could also have been built a lot longer ago. It could, you know, scale back 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 years. Is there any way of finding that out?
Well, there is a way. If you think about it, this is if we're talking like, you know, Bronze Age, Iron Age, etc. It's very difficult to fence off all of this and keep it secure. It's quite a big area, whereas the logical thing is to build something like this. It's all sedimentary, it's dead easy. It's not like igneous stuff where you're quarrying. You basically, this is stuff you can put in a
wheelbarrow,
Bronze Age wheelbarrow. I was just thinking, did they have wheelbarrows in the Bronze Age? And just basically just take it from the sides and stick it on the top. It would work really easily.
And there we go.
And it makes it even more secure because you're making it harder to.
Absolutely. So there's the physical obvious, right, we're making a defensive site. We're making a small defensive area, but when you go up there, I think you're going to be defending 1 or 2 or 3 people maybe. I think you're not going to be able to defend the whole village full, but you'll certainly be able to shoot arrows down on the people who are approaching in and kind of attacking all your village. But the other thing about it is that it's like a mini version as well of this electrical storage unit that we're standing on, almost as though either someone had a thought, oh, that does that, right, we've seen the lightning come down into this area, because you can see this if you went out now over there, where anyone coming in, whether they're Vikings, whether they're Normans, whether they're Romans, they've all come in, whether they're pre that, they will have seen this site, they will have noticed that it's a bit of a centre for storms get trapped here. We've lived here a while, we notice this, storms get trapped, lightning gets trapped. They would have thought maybe, hey, if we build another one on top, we can use that. Because, you know, what does man want? He wants power, he wants control, he wants fire, he wants...
Okay.
Woo!
Right, here's one for you. So therefore, if they built this themselves,
Yes.
what to have stopped them layering it? They could have layered it themselves.
Do you not think it might be?
Could well be. I'd love to be able to dig a cross section through it.
We can't do that. What we can do, though, is we can compare other sites where they have done archaeological digs. We can compare to, for example, Barrow sites, where they've got the digs that show the layers, and they're exactly the same layers that you've been talking in here. We've got that layered structure. So, should we get the buckets and spades out?
You should see the state of your hat, mate. It's absolutely terrible.